Hello everyone, today we will continue discussing requirement 1.6 of the CCIE LAB. This requirement is about EIGRP configuration. It asks us to follow the instructions below, specifically for the branch 3 location. We need to deploy EIGRP, which means that the aggregation switch, actually the two distribution switches and the two upstream edge routers above them, the links between all of these devices must use EIGRP. In other words, each device will have 3 EIGRP neighbors. This configuration, this requirement is very simple, very straightforward. It specifies that this is for branch 3 and it must be used. The IGRP must use the name mode, not the classic mode. It has to be in name mode and the name must be CCIE. Also, for authentication, actually the AS number must be 5006. And in addition, it requires us to the keychain must use the MD5 authentication method, and the keychain should be named CCIE. Then for MD5, the authentication key, is CC10 E:, CC10 E10 10F24. This is the key number. It's not CCIE, and the latter part is in lowercase. This way, using a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters plus a string makes the format more secure. This is a special requirement. Also, when we declare this address on the interface, we need to use a single command to announce all of them at once. That is, for example, if I have these 3 interfaces on my SW601, then since they belong to different subnets, I need to announce them all with a single command. Actually, we can take a look at these interfaces in a bit, their X addresses. You can use something like 10.0.0.0 to cover all of them, right? Just announce this one route. This will include all of them, and it also says that redistribution cannot be used. You can't use this redistribute technique. The requirement is very simple, but actually there's also a clever workaround for this requirement. When we start, especially in Cisco exams, don't just jump in and start working after reading the question. You should first check the configuration of the devices to see what's already set up. Then we'll notice that the configuration on device 62 uses named mode, and the configuration is correct. So actually, we can just copy the configuration from device 62 and paste it onto this one, and that's it. After copying it, just modify the interfaces. The interfaces here are 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And for the switch below, they're 0, 1, 2. So just change the interface numbers, copy it over, and then copy it again for the next one, right? And that's it. Let's do a quick demonstration. This configuration is very simple. All right, then let's operate on device 61. If you want to learn Cisco technologies or get access to Cisco question banks, feel free to send me a private message or leave a comment below the video to discuss technical topics. First, you need to configure the key. The key is the same for every device as required, right? CCIE. Then an underscore, our 5th one. That's the name, our 5th one indeed. You need to practice. And then you need to, this is CC10, E10NF24, and the letters after that are lowercase. Alright, after you finish configuring this, you can take this thing. Once you've written it out, we can copy and paste it. These are the 3 commands on device 61. This is a preset authentication key, and then you paste it onto 62 as well as SW, 601, and 602. This name was written incorrectly. This should be, let me see, 601 should be 62. 62. So what about this 62? It's SW601. Right, 62. Change the symbol. Restart these two devices, 62 and SW601. Alright, just copy and paste the key from earlier over here, and that's it. And 6602 and 601 are the same. Huh, why is this one also called 62? Let me check. Let's first paste 602, and then we can reconnect. Let me see what this one is called. 610. 61. It hasn't been changed. It still needs to be. It's called 601. It's called 62. Let's first paste it in this location, paste it up there, and then we will proceed to change the name, this particular 601. All right, once that's done, after finishing this, it's about the names of 601 and 62. Just now, I changed them again, changed it to 62. That's lovely. Okay, 601, this one is 62, change it to 62. All right, that's fine, no problem, restart it again. Okay, after configuring the key, we need to set up EIGRP. I'll demonstrate on 61, but actually the configuration on 62 is already complete. Okay, let's take a look. Look at the configuration on 62, first here. First, it starts an EIGRP name mode called CCIE, then it enters this name mode and the AS number is 65006, right? After entering, it advertises a route which is 10.0.0.0.0. This includes all its interfaces. We can take a look at the IPs of all the internal interfaces. All the internal interfaces are like this. Its interfaces 1, 2, and 3 are all on the 10.6 network. 0.0 network, right? So by advertising 10.0.0.0, it covers all of them, and these three interfaces will all be advertised. Then each internal interface needs to have authentication enabled. We need to use MD5 authentication as required, and we need to call the keychain we just configured, right? Every interface needs to reference it, and then we have to enter no passive interface. That means in this name mode, the interface is shut down by default, so we need to enable it, right? These three commands, you can actually just copy what you did on 62 over to 61. All right, then we can demonstrate this on 61. Let's demonstrate the EIGRP name mode. CCIE. Then you should address the family of IPv4 unicast addresses. Authentication. No, not this one. This is the AS number. Not authentication. I mentioned authentication earlier. 65006. Right, 65006. And then I advertise this network 10.0.0.0. Then AF interface. Enter interface 01, and here we need to enable authentication. This is where authentication is configured. Authentication, then mode MD5. Then call this keychain, which is CCIE 3D5. Then bring up the interface. After bringing it up, because 62, I mentioned there's a configuration, so it immediately formed a neighbor relationship with 62, right? At least that's my understanding. This is the dual algorithm, which is the log generated by EIGRP, and then it discovered that in AS 65006, there is a neighbor at 10.699.2, which is 62. Through these three interfaces of mine, all three interfaces on my 61 have already announced that I've discovered the neighbor on the other end through this upper interface, so this 99.2 is 62's. This G019, we can verify it. 01 interface, 10.699. Right? That's the structure. So here, we've announced an interface, so this basically means the interface is enabled, so it will successfully authenticate with 62. Okay, and then in addition, we also configure the other interfaces. We finish configuring the other interfaces as well, which means we copy this configuration out. Copy it out, and you can modify it here. Then I paste it here. Then we copy and paste these two lines and refresh them. Just put them into 601. That's it, inside 601. All right, after configuring these two interfaces, we've also entered no passive interface. But why haven't the neighbors come up? It's because the other two devices, 601 and 602, haven't started EIGRP yet. Right, so the neighbor relationship hasn't formed yet. It's sending hello packets now, but the other side hasn't responded yet. That's what this means. All right, then for 61 and 62, we can just copy and paste here. First, these few lines are useless. If they're useless, just delete them. Actually, it's fine if you don't delete them. It's okay either way. Change this interface 1 to interface 0, then change interface 2 to interface 1, and interface 3 to interface 2. All right, next, for the announcement, we don't need any other configurations, just this one. Announce it. Set the configuration for 0.0 to 0 and put it at the top. Okay, now I can copy and paste this onto 61 and 62. (36601) SW601. After announcing the three interfaces, two neighbors have come up, which proves that the neighbor relationships with 61 and 62 have already been established, but there's still one more to go. All right, there need to be three neighbors here. Three neighbors, three neighbors. Each device needs to have three neighbors. Let's look at this. 601 EIGRP. No, 61. On router 61, there are three neighbors. Lujo. 62 also has three neighbors, and then this one. 601. Three neighbors. All right, so for 62, this requirement is fulfilled, and authentication has also been set up between these neighbors, right? We've completed this requirement. If you'd like to know more about exam materials, please send me a private message, or you can leave a comment below the video.